Yeah, okay, cool. I'm Nicola Parks, and I'm from Melbourne. I'm a performance artist and a choreographer, and conceptual artist as well. And I was too scared shit to do something here tonight. So before I commence, I just want to congratulate the brave artists to come up here and basically expose their art to an open platform, not knowing anyone. And I think it takes a lot of courage. So I think, yeah, I just wanted to say that to all guys. So I want to introduce Jill, who I don't know as well. So this is my first introduction to Jill and her works as well.
So hello, my name is Jill Doherty. I'm a painter. I think the only two-dimensional artist here. So this is very strange for me. I'd like to introduce my painting here tonight. It's called Discarded Adversities. It's an oil painting on canvas.
What's it called?
Discarded Adversities. Just before we commence the interview, I've just written a piece for this evening which I'd like to read. It's called Night of the Crow. One feels the need to verbalize its perception of image after being provoked into thought. Transpositions between the verbal and the visual are a constant. I believe there is a natural movement within each form of imagery, both visual and verbal, towards the other, in a common search for expression. However, although I am aware of what verbal language is capable of, in this case my language is that of the visual kind, silent and void of any words. This linguistic prose is formed now in response to this oral task at hand. Within my paintings there are many subtle clues to an explanation, but I find the only explanation needed is the viewer's own take on what they are seeing. I invite you to take your own poetic stance on vision, to discuss and critique the piece displayed before you in an open debate without my verbal input. As for me, this is wholly a visual medium. Painting is my non-linguistic reality.
Wow. That was beautiful. So this is how we're carrying the rest of the interview, I imagine. Wow, this is the surprise I was warned about. So I suppose what we can do is all interact together now, rather than have me interview this incredible, at the moment non-verbal artist. If you have any questions regarding this quirky surprise, all her work that is up on the wall. So please feel free to come. There's obviously an element of surrealism in my painting or work. Yes.
Does she not want to talk anymore now, or is this just like a mask?
We can try and ask her. Yeah. I suppose we're challenged now, aren't we? Because we're now presented with this live moment of using other language forms to communicate.
Well, a painting doesn't talk either, so I suppose it connects in that sense. She has become a live painting, so then what language does the painting take in the live form? You don't know. Apparently it doesn't talk.
What happens when the body takes on a different kind of head, or a different species, and what there's a kind of discrepancy that speaks for itself.
And I think that's one of the beautiful things about having a look at a painting or a photograph or a picture, because you're then left to use your other senses, and you're left to kind of go and delve deeper into what may be obvious, which is really not obvious. You know, language is quite complex in itself. Transformation, you know, biomorphism.
I think there's no need of any words. She's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this beautiful head, which has morphed into something else now. We're all kind of left here wondering how we can interact with her. So it's this wonderful element of surprise and challenge we're faced with. In a sense, art challenges us on a daily level, depending on how we want to perceive and relate to artworks. We're constantly challenged if we're open to that challenge. And it's wonderful.
I know that you're a performance artist yourself, so, I mean, does it annoy you in any way that a painter wishes not to talk about their artwork or their painting, but also take it into a performative medium?
No, because I think that I think paintings themselves are not one-dimensional. I think there's more to meanings in paintings as well. It's a performance in itself. I think she's speaking right now. It's not through words, yes. However, her body and language is speaking. And I think it's just great because it opens up our senses to receiving someone who totally surprises our expectations, and that's what performance is all about as well. Is how do we, or through art, how do we go to the next level? How do we communicate our feelings from a different perspective, or how do we challenge ourselves, and therefore how do we challenge another person to view something in a different way, in a new way? And I think this is a wonderful example of performance, and it could be painting. I mean, we always define language anyway. We're constantly redefining language. So.
And like I said, does the artist need to explain themselves? Or not?
Good question.
Well, it's like looking at the piece of artwork, it's a one-sided conversation anyway, and it's whatever you bring to what you look, when you look at the piece of art, what she's done now, it's a one-sided conversation. And to expect an answer from a painting, or expect an answer from what she's created now, is the same thing. It's look for answers when really it's what's being presented, and you bring to it what you want to bring to it, and take away from what you want to take away.
Yeah. But within that, saying that, I think there's still a dialogue. There's an unspoken dialogue between the artist and the viewer. So even though if you're looking at a painting and now we're with the artist herself, we're not verbally communicating, we're still communicating something. You know, there is the unknown, and I think if you look at her work, there's an element of fantasy. There's a real representation of the everyday, because if you look at that painting, it's actually being, there's a room there that's real. We can make associations, even though it's imagined. So there is a dialogue happening.
It as well, but she's, as far as what she's already said, what she wants to say with the piece.
Yeah, if that's what you think.
Exactly what I think, and obviously it's subjective.
Yeah, it's very subjective.
But by her putting on the mask, then it becomes subjective. What is she trying to say? And we're all standing going,
yeah, it's great. Surprise, you know? Life. Is there anything linear about life when you walk outside? Is it, you know, I mean, I think she's made a point and she's communicating right now.
So, why did she come today?
Why are you
Yeah, just to read the piece. I mean, I'm asking you, but you're not going to answer. But why did you have to show up with the mask? I mean, you could have emailed that and posted it next to the painting, for example. But your presence is a very specific feel. You're here, so you're performing for us right now. The whole time you're sitting there performing for us, and so to me, this is a whole totally different new piece. So there's the painting, and then there's this performance that's happening. So maybe we can't even I don't even want to look at the painting because now there's this performance, and I'm just taken by how you're reacting, how you're moving, and just the little tiny twitches that you're making. This to me is becoming a lot more interesting than this behind me. I mean, maybe because the way the room is set up too, but you won't answer, so I'll post to you guys. Should she have or could she have just sent this in and not even shown up, or how much is this adding to this piece? How much is this performance right now adding to this painting? Or what is it? How is it informing the painting?
Well, it's not mechanical, sir. It's not mechanical giving it a person an animal head. It's subverting that and subverting the evening of that. It's meant to be a discussion where you find out answers from someone who's maybe going to give you is subverting that and going, well, maybe there is no answer. That you can talk to your blue and you're still not going to find exactly what it's about. Because what are you trying to find out exactly?
The real love is all the talking.
Exactly. This is great.
I think there's a lot of material here. The other piece didn't have a name. This is a name. This is an explanation. There's an artist before us. She has a mask. It's also almost like the Kuban has a mask, and they are opposite each other. We have a lot of material to reflect. So it's also a very good thing to not talk too much about the painting when people should look at the painting and reflect this. Always talk with the artist itself.
I mean, it's all subjective, isn't it? And you can take whatever view. You can have a look at the painting and then have a look at the artist, and then you can look back at the painting and make some sort of associations, or you can just accept her performance to be separate or a statement about her works. But I think the talking has said that it's interesting because she's not talking. However, she's made you talk and she's made you ask questions. And now there are lots of people talking about this. So what she's actually done is quite, uncanny in the sense that she's actually achieved something through her silence or the embodiment of this piece. And maybe you can take it one step further and say, well, when you're looking at an art piece, you are talking. But maybe you're talking internally, you're not talking out loud, but you're in a dialogue.
The reason I really like this, it's very smart, because by her presence, she's forcing us to talk about her piece. You know what I mean? If she sent a thing in, we would be like, okay, and then someone would say something and then we would move on. But now this uncomfortable silent persona here is forcing us to, and I like this little a little needle for the audience, poking us. It's nice.
It's more of a poke. It's more of a nudge.
Yeah. But I think it's also the empathy you were saying about the nervousness of presenting your work in front of everyone, and putting the mask on makes it a lot more easier, I imagine, to present your work with this persona, which I imagine everyone would have no problem presenting work if they were able to hide behind the persona. And this is a very
you can only assume, can't you?
Well, this is what I'm saying. That's how, again, it's a one-sided conversation, which is what I like to do.
But she's communicating. She's actually challenging the concept of language.
Or is she Purloinen? I mean, I don't know the name for that bird in English. She looks like a crow, but that's the other bird. That's half white and black, and it only steals precious, shiny things. And that's what she's doing, right? She's like picking out precious thoughts from our brains who would just be standing there not sharing if we didn't have that beak like pointed to our brain cells. So in a way, the performance is very to the point. Don't pick my brain.
Well, have we come to an end? We might have to move on to the next one, as to avoid any more awkward silences from this event. So thank you very much to Jill and Nicola. You've been very good.